everybody. Welcome to a brand new year. This is 2015. Oh my God. Woo! That is a lot to say. As you probably know by the name of this vlog, we are going to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I know there's a lot of videos out there about it, but I want to go ahead and put my input on it. Let's start with the main thing you probably should do. It's probably a good thing to probably learn before you take your course, but if you can't, because you don't have a bike or something like that, taking an MSF course is probably the main way to get your experience, because you're going to learn things that you probably are not going to learn by other people, because either people forget it or for other obvious reasons. So we're going to just go over the bike a little bit and show you what everything is. Okay, so we're going to work from our top to the back. Everything on your left side of the bike is going to be dealing with your gears, and on your right side of the bike, you're going to deal with your braking system. So starting here with your left, you got your clutch, which you're going to need a lot. Also on this control, you're going to have your, this is what is called a passing light. So if you have your headlights on, you tap this and your high beams will flash. That lets other people know that they can go or whatever. You got your high beam, low beam, your four-way, lights, your caution lights, and you got your horn down here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I got my thing here locked here. There's your horn. Here's your turn signals. Left, right. So it automatically switches over to the center. And then when you're done, you just click in and it'll turn them off. Now going to the right side here, we're going to have your kill switch. Got to have it to the down position to start it. Push it up to turn it completely off. That way nobody can start it. Even if you try to start it, it won't start. Got a mode system here to where it'll adjust your fuel economy and power. And then your start button, to start the bike. So then we're going to go here to the left side and your gear. This is your shifter. Now, most modern bikes, you're going to have one down, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So what you do, you would hold the clutch, downshift, and then that would be your first gear. Then you kick up just barely. You'd be neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And then you click it all the way down and back into neutral. Now your right side, you're going to have your front brake, where most of your stopping power is going to be. Now, I've heard different stories about this. I've heard 75% of your stopping power, and I've also heard 90% of your stopping power. Either or, it's going to have more of your stopping power because it's got dual rotors in the front, so that's where you're going to have all your stopping power. Then you come down here, and this will be your rear brake, which it's actually good to use both of them. That way you get more stopping power. But your rear brake is more for, like in gravel. If you know you're going to be on gravel road, it's very great to just use your rear brake. That way, if you need to use them, you can actually just fishtail. Because if you use your front, you're going to end up doing like a power stoppie and drop your bike. Okay, now that we've gone over the functionality of the bike, now let's get on and actually start the bike. Okay, so we've already got the key in the ignition. Now, I forget this all the time, but you need to get yourself in a habit. As soon as you pick the bike up off the ground from the kickstand, make sure you put it up. Because most of them nowadays, that if you don't put it up and you go to take off, it will turn your bike off. It's a safety feature on the bikes. That way you don't take off with the kickstand down and cause yourself to wreck. So that's a good pointer to do, just to go ahead and as soon as you bring it up, put that kickstand up. This is going to be different than from most bikes because some bikes don't do this, some bikes do it a different way. But with this particular bike, okay, so we've got it on. This bike will not start by just pushing the starter button. You actually have to hold the clutch in. Make sure your kill switch is not to the off position, it's on position. And now that it's in neutral, and I got my hand on the clutch, I can start the bike. And now that it's in neutral, I can actually let off the clutch because it's not going to go anywhere. And this bike's already been warmed up, so make sure you let your bike warm up for a little bit, get pretty decent temperature. And once it is warmed up, you want to go ahead and hold in the clutch, put your foot on the left side of your bike where your gear shift is. Make sure you click it in the first gear. Sometimes you might have to rock the bike back and forth to get it to go in first. Once you do that, if you want, you can put your foot back down on the ground or whatnot. And what you want to do is to learn, start using the friction zone. You're going to need to know how that runs. See what you do is you let out easy. The bike's going to start moving forward. When you start feeling that, pull it back, rock the bike back. Let the bike pull itself forward, and then let it off, and you can rock it back. Now, what will happen is, if you give it too much, it will stall. So you got to watch that. So what you do is give it a little, let the bike move. It'll start moving, and it'll start, Then that's when you got to give it a little gas. That's what will make you really move. So give it a little clutch, give it a little gas, and let all the way out on the clutch. That will make you move. But most important is that, that there's not much to it. It's pretty simple. Once you, get all that down, take your time. Get really familiar with the friction zone. That way you know where it starts pulling. And then once you get the feel where, all big bikes' friction zones are going to be a little different. Like some of them are going to be a little closer, some of them are going to be a little further. Especially if you get the shorty levers, they're going to be a little more different. So I'm going to play with mine a little bit. I want to see, give it a little bit of gas. Woo-hoo. Back down. And so you can do this when you turning around, turning around, just see, I won't even give it any gas, and I'm actually just using the friction zone, and I completely got it off. Give it a little bit of gas. It's really simple. Like I said, just rock your bike back. Give it just a little bit of throttle or clutch there to where the bike starts to move. That's your friction zone. You can start walking it. You can actually start to hear when it's actually going to stall. So when you start hearing kind of going like that, then you give it gas. But that's pretty much it. And as you can see, I put my kickstand down, and it will cut the bike off. But now, as soon as I throw it into neutral, it's good to go. So I want to turn my cut-off switch off, and my bike will not start. So there you go. Have a good one, and hit that forever like button. And welcome to 2015.